of Poland for Hong Kong group. And quite recently, in November, I visited his Hong Kong Movie Festival, a free Hong Kong Movie Festival, which was in Kinoteka, so with a quite similar format that we do with Bitcoin Film Fest. So please let me introduce you our friend Ken Lee.
Dzień dobry. Yes, I'm Kenny. I will do the following in English. So my name is Kenny, and I know some of you guys may expecting another Ken Lee, but unfortunately there were no Mariah Carey today. Yeah, I'm the Kenny from Hong Kong, and I'm the founder of PL4HK. I found this organization in 2019, and when there was a protest in Hong Kong broke out, and I wanted to do something to support Hong Kong while I was living in Poland. So that's why I found PL4HK. So throughout the year, I have been doing activist work, organizing protests, organizing screening events, documentary screening, and also educating the Polish public in terms of human rights issue in China and Hong Kong. So today, it would be a bit different in my presentation because I know you guys have been sitting here for the whole day, so a little bit tired, right? So thanks for sitting at the end of the day and come to listen to my presentation. So I want to make it more interactive, and so let's start with like a little survey, okay? So so may I ask some of you guys, is anybody know about what happened in Hong Kong in 2019? So if you know, please raise your hand. Okay, that's pretty good. So I can skip a lot of things in this my lecture slides then, so I can go home, just joking. So right, so second question. Has anyone know, like you see in the picture, there's a black flag. So has anyone seen it or know the slogan about the flag, which is Liberate Hongkong and Revolution of Times? Anyone know it? No? That's great. So that is what I'm going to talk in my presentation. So today's topic is Liberate Hong Kong, and it's part of the slogan. So the second part is Revolution of the Times. So some of you guys may not know what is this, but this has been a slogan in Hong Kong, chanted in thousands of protests, like those in Hong Kong, including those overseas. But what this slogan actually means to Hong Kongers and also to the Chinese Communist Party. So maybe let's start with the current situation in Hong Kong first. So this slogan it may sound like just an idea, a simple slogan, right? Like could be something similar to Slava Ukraini or like Free Ukraine, something like that. But in Hong Kong right now, when you like literally shout or use this slogan on any form of text or graphic, it could send you in jail. So why would end up like this? So last year, there was a national security law passed actually in China, and then they implement the whole law without any consent in Hong Kong into the Hong Kong legal system. So which means that there is a security police department set up, so they can pick anyone who posed to be a threat to Chinese government and also Hong Kong government to be the jail. So, and the CCP sees this slogan as a threat of national security because we are advocating to liberate Hong Kong, to free from China. So everyone who shout or who use to write this slogan on social media, they could end up in jail. So there was a case recently. There was a guy waving the flag of Liberate Hong Kong in the street, and then he was putting the flag in his motorcycle and just roaming on the street. And then the police came and pushed him on the ground, and he had been like in jail for 2 years, waiting for his court trial. And then last year, he was sentenced for 9 years of conducting terrorism and also posing a threat to national security. So this is the situation in Hong Kong. So at this time, you may wonder why shouting a simple slogan like this would end up to life imprisonment or like a 10 years imprisonment. So on the next slide, I will explain what this slogan means to us and also why the CCP is so afraid of it. So this is a clear picture of the flag and also the slogan we use during our protest. So by literal meaning, it is Liberate Hong Kong, Liberate and Hong Kong. And two characters on the left is era, and the last two characters means revolution. There are lots of English variations about this slogan, like Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of our time, Free Hong Kong, Revolution now, Reclaim Hong Kong, Revolution of our times. But yeah, different people, they have different interpretations. But there's like a quite solid Chinese meaning of this slogan, which I'm going to elaborate right now. So here, I don't know why it's a bit overlapped, but anyway. So this slogan was originally created by a politician called Edward Leung. I'm not sure if any of you are aware of it. So he is kind of a first politician in Hong Kong who advocate Hong Kong independence. And he was also a political prisoner who was sentenced for 7 years in the prisons because he advocated Hong Kong independence, and also he was charged for inciting rioting during a protest, but in fact it was just like a simple police clashes, and it's less violence comparing to those football matches riot. So basically, it's like he is a political prisoner by advocating Hong Kong independence. So this is his idea to come up, liberate Hong Kong and revolution of time. So now I'm going to break down what it actually means. So liberate, which means it says gong fok in Cantonese. So I'm pretty sure everyone here knows what's the meaning of liberate, because you guys are libertarian, right? And it's also behind me, like Fornoch, like freedom. So I guess everyone here has his own definition of liberate. But in Hong Kong context, liberate means to set Hong Kong free from China's control. Liberate, this term in Chinese, there's a rich context because it was firstly introduced when China was still a monarchy, and there was a young teenager called Sun Yat-sen, and he was a Republican, and he grew up in Hong Kong, and he studied in Hong Kong University, and he advocated China to be liberated from the absolute monarchy of Manchurian. And this is the original historical meaning of liberate in Chinese context. And you can see the picture on the right, so on my left, on this side. Yeah, so it looks quite similar, right? So actually it's a painting created by a Hong Kong artist during the protest in 2019. And he was inspired by the famous French painting about the French Revolution, so that you can see some sort of elements of like French Revolution, liberation, freedom in this painting. So let me have a reference. I forgot the name of the painting. Yeah, the painting in French is called Liberty Leading to People. So it's kind of a famous painting. You can find it on Wikipedia. And this painting created by a Hong Kong artist is called Our Vantage. So so both of these like liberation stories of Hong Kong, the Chinese monarchy and also the French Revolution, they all lead to the similar stories. They got liberated, and this is what we, Hong Kong, wants, our aim, and why we are doing this activists all over the world because we want to see a free Hong Kong city with autonomy without the Chinese control. So the next phrase, Hong Kong. So we have been talking about like what is Hong Kong and what about Hong Kong. So I am going to give more context about what is Hong Kong. So I'm not sure if there's any Marvel fans here. Anyone watch Marvel? No? Anyway, so there's a Marvel movie called Thor, and in the third episode, because they have like a rim called Asgardian, and then it was destroyed by Thor's sister, Helen, and then all of the Asgardian had to fled from their home planet because it was destroyed. And then the main character, Thor, he had a phrase because of this situation. So he said, Asgardian is not just a place, it's a people. So this phrase inspires our Hong Konger like to frame what is Hong Kong actually. So for many of us, Hong Kong is not a place. It's about people. It's an idea of freedom and liberty. And you know, the CCP may think differently because they see Hong Kong is a place, so they want to get it like no matter what it takes. So, but we think differently because Hong Kong is an idea of freedom. So let me tell you a story about PL4HK. So when I founded my organization in Poland, you know there are not many Hong Kongers in Poland, right? So it's barely possible to find Hong Kong to support my organization. So at the very beginning, it was just myself, very stupidly, organized a protest in Warsaw city center, like the Old Town Square. So, but surprisingly, there are some Polish friends show up to my protest and help me to, negotiating with the police because I couldn't speak Polish and I didn't know the law of protesting in Poland. So kind of I was getting into trouble, but with their help, and I settled the issue with the police, and then eventually they got into my team and helping me to do many stuff and connecting with the politician, and also with their help. That's why I could get on this stage today. So really thankful for them. So why I'm telling these stories? Because they are helping me because they also think themselves they are Hong Kongers, because they value liberty, they treasure the value of freedom. So anyone here can be a Hong Konger as long as you treasure freedom and liberty. So this is the true meaning of Hong Kong and Hong Konger. And next one is era. So there's a saying that I don't remember who said this. So it goes with we may not have chosen the time, but the time has chosen us. So what does it mean? We born in this chaotic era with lots of issues going around in the world. And you know, last year, Russia invaded Ukraine in full scale. Also, Hong Kong in 2019 turned into a turmoil. And also, like in Belarus, like the previous speaker said about situation in Belarus. So yeah, this is the era we are living with. And sometimes it's like we are like the chosen one. Why you say that? Because our previous generations, they have made a really bad choice, and which make the consequences that we have to suffer today. So why I'm saying that? Because in terms of, for example, Russia and China context, and there have been always the idea in the Western democratic world thinking that, okay, right, Russia or China, if they are getting rich, if they have wealth, they may eventually become a democracy, or the freedom may eventually bring to the people. But it's totally wrong, which proves that nowadays in Hong Kong context and also in Ukraine. So they have done a really wrong approach. And this is the era that we have to change it, and we have to take steps in order to stop China and Russia keep growing and then making the dominant of this world and disrupting the balance of the peace. So also when we look back to the example in history, you know, when before the Second World War happened, so the British government and the French government, they adopt a policy called appeasement policy. They just took a blind eye on Hitler expansions in Europe. So Hitler took Czech Republic, reunite Austria-Hungary, and then the West did nothing to stop Hitler expansion until the day Hitler invaded Poland. It was too late to stop Hitler. So kind of, we make the same mistake in Ukraine right now. So, but gladly, Poland and also the Democratic Alliance, they are trying to make up of the mistake, so by supporting Ukraine. But at the same time, in China, seems that nobody realized the threat of China doing in Asia and also the expansion in Europe. So that's why we are here to trying to explain what the Chinese illusion to the Western democratic world, and want to encourage everyone take a step to stop China. And this is what leads to revolution. So there's a saying that about revolution. So revolution is it's not a one-time event. So it takes time and years, many revolutions, many sacrifices in order to make it happen. So maybe let's take Poland as an example. So Poland had been disappeared on the map for hundreds of years, I guess. And you guys know better Polish history than I do, so I'm not going to talk more about it to be ashamed. But yeah, so definitely it takes time, people, sacrifices, and lots of revolutions to make it happen and make Poland great today, right? So here is the example of Hong Kong revolution. So on the very far left is our kind of the first revolution happened in Hong Kong. So people woke up from their just usual ways of life, or like focusing making money. They went to the street to protest. So we call that umbrella revolution because we use umbrella to stop the tear gas and pepper spray. And it was in 2014, but it failed. So people went back to normal life, sort of, but desperately. And in 2016, there was quite of a serious clashes happened between the protesters and the police. And this is how got the activists I mentioned very early in my presentation, Edward Leung, into the jail for 7 years. So this is the first kind of proactive protest in Hong Kong, and then which laid the foundation of 2019 protests you may have seen on the news, and also all over the videos online. And then that kind of event, revolution, I would say failed because nothing of our demand were achieved. And there were serious crackdown by China, and there was a national security law passed. So nothing of them, the revolution failed, but there are more coming up because we won't give up until we got what we want, a free Hong Kong with our own autonomy. So this is what I and my colleagues from Hong Kong doing all over the world, protesting, organizing documentary events to educate the public, to raise awareness, talking to the politician, and ask help to support Hong Kong, and also most importantly, to stop the Chinese expansion. So yesterday, I have met some people in a conference, and a lot of people ask me, like, as an ordinary citizen, like in Poland, what can you do? So basically, there are lots of things you can do. First of all, you guys can follow us on social media. You can scan the QR code, or you can search PL4HK on Facebook, Instagram, and also we have YouTube channel. From time to time, we upload videos. And yeah, the first thing, you can support us by follow us on social media. And also, we organize events from time to time. So you guys can show up to support us. That would be grateful to encourage us to continue our works in Poland, because it is a very difficult battle to fight in Poland. Unlike UK and US, they have big resources, like human resources, money, and stuff. So we need your help, definitely. And coming up, we are going to launch a project in Poland. So let me show you some sneak peek. So this is a map of Poland, right? And behind that, there's a Chinese flag. So what does it mean? Well, why there's a Chinese flag and there's a map of Poland? So on this map, you can see there are many dots on the Polish cities. And each of those cities, they have signed a partnership agreement with China. So there's a thing called Sister City Program or Twin City Program. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it. So basically, it was an idea. Yeah, I'm running out of time, but I will run it up. So yeah, it was an idea about Sister City Program, and China, they have a lot of partnership with Polish city. So we want to eliminate and kick China out from Poland before it's too late. So this is our plan in the future months. So keep follow us on social media, and you will have a better understanding when we have more information. So this is our contact details. So you can follow us, as I said, PL4HK, and also email me here, and also we have Telegram as well. So if you want, we can have a chat later after this presentation. And thank you for your time today.
Ken, many thanks for your lecture. Many thanks for your human rights advocacy.
I can see that. No worries.